Okay, so we're gonna talk about the complex list that dropped of all the top 25 hip hop media personalities. And I'm kind of gonna give my opinion because I don't think this is weird. This is a weird list to make, and I get why they, Complex did this list, but I would definitely rearrange this list, and it's solely because I think this list, and I'll say it. I think this list is partially backwards, and I think that's solely because Sway, Big Boy, Narzwar, and Angie Martinez and Angela Yee, DJ. Oh, Funk Flex is on here. Funk Flex. Oh, it's like, okay. So I got a problem with this list. And it's solely because in my top three, and I'll get to it. It'll definitely be the host of the LA Leakers, which will be a weird conversation to have. I think because of I love hip hop. I do. I love hip hop. But I don't think Joe Budden is on top of that list. And I don't think Academic is on that list. Gillie and Wallo, we can argue, and Nori we can argue, are on the top of that list. But I don't know. I don't know. So let's see what happens. We'll get right into it.
Atenção apaixonados por futebol. De Orlando a Los Angeles, entre em campo nos Estados Unidos nas suas próximas férias. Pronto para dar o pontapé inicial? Fique por dentro de jogos e eventos incríveis, além de encontrar tesouros escondidos em cidades cheias de aventuras, comida deliciosa e culturas diversas. Você vai gostar tanto que vai querer aumentar sua estadia além dos jogos. Marque um golaço na sua escapada futebolística. Acesse www.visitesusa.com.br.
Okay, and I will preface this by saying I've seen at least 2 episodes of every person in every interview I've seen at least of these people listed. So this is the thing. So it's definitely gonna be Sway in the morning. His 5 Fingers of Death was something that is remarkable of his radio show, and it made him stand out. That is why Sway is still doing what he's doing, because Sway is great at what he does. So I will give Sway number 1. That's why I would change this list up. Big Boy would be number 2 because Big Boy's radio in the morning is something that its production is great. Big Boy asks great questions. And so him not being in the top 5 or top 10 for me is weird. I will say that it's weird for me. However, this third one, and I say that with the most unbiased opinion, but Narwhal should be top 5 at most. And I say that solely because Narwhal has done interviews with Tyler, the Creator, J. Cole recently that were popular. Lil Pump, he's been able to find history on these rappers that people may not have known and brought it into the daylight. And especially with that J. Cole interview, I think he should be, while he isn't big in in New York, he really does get to the point of these interviews. I think he's done interviews around the world for hip hop fans. While many people might not know who Narwhal is, his interviews are legendary. He's that pause. And it's weird. So, and even if we go off of popularity or relevance, I will still go Sway is number 1. Solely because he made it possible for everybody. Sway has done interviews with Kanye, Neo, Method Man, Black Thought. We've seen it through years, and that's why to argue Sway, Big Boy, and Narwhal are the top 3 for me, right? And then we talk about Math Huff, right? And so his interviews to me are more direct and less produced, and that's why he would be 3. And so this is just gonna be tough for me, right? Because I think Charlamagne and Envy are great at what they do. I think they are popular, right? But if we're going off of the interviews themselves and who they interview, I'm going to have to go with Gillie and Wallow for $1 million worth of game. I'm going to have to go Nori for number 5. If we're doing it off of popularity, it'll be Nori. Right, and then if we go 6, if we go for popularity, it'll be DJ Vlad, because DJ Vlad, even though he is, people argue that he is a federal informant, and I haven't seen any proof to prove that he is or isn't, so I haven't seen enough evidence. That's weird to me, but also, this is the thing, my top 5 would have to be Funk Flex, because Funk Flex made everybody in New York popular. His interviews have been around for years, and that Black Thought interview of Black Thought rapping, Meek Mill rapping for Funk Flex is something that if we overlook that, then this list is really irrelevant, because it's so weird to me to have Funk Flex at 15. Ebro, I will give Ebro maybe top 11, right? Okay, and then Angela Martinez at J. Cole, Lil Pump. Her interviews, when she does interviews, she rarely does interviews, but when she does them, they're big turnout interviews. They're hour-long interviews, and they're worth watching every minute of these interviews. So that is another reason why Angela Martinez would be 6, 7 for me, right? So it's weird. Jinx, we could argue, and I think I'd put Ebro and Rosenberg right behind each other, even though they skipped it and said Rosenberg is 3 slots under Ebro, which we could argue. Sure. Jazzy. Okay, I think Jazzy might be 25. Jinx might be 24. See, Academic isn't in my top 15, and that's hard to say because I can't think of 15 other people. And so it's hard for me. And for me to go and say Joe Budden is top 10, it's fine. But I'm not going off of popularity if I do this. And then I'll go Adam 22. Now I'll go Adam 22. However, if we're going off of popularity, okay, I'll say Joe Budden stays where he is. Then I'll go Nori. I'll go Drink Champs is second, no matter what, right? I'll go Charlemagne is third. The Breakfast Club, I'll go third. I'll go Gillie. Yeah, I'll keep Gillie and Wallow at 4. I will put Funk Flex at 5. Vlad at 6. Narwhal at 7. Mouth Hoffa at 8. Elliot Wilson's good, but I don't think they're over Mouth Hoffa. I don't think that. So Jason Lee. Sure, I guess I can go on that list, but I don't think Academic is in my top 10. I don't think so. Looking at this list that they provided, and I think that's solely because Adam 22, Big Boy, Sway, Narwhal, Pete Rosenberg, Jazzy, Joe Budden, Charlemagne. Like, these are great, but if we're going off of popularity, I don't know if we're going to top 25 of all times. If Sway isn't in the top 5, if Big Boy isn't in the top 5, I will even put LA Leakers on this list. But it's just, if we're not going to be serious and go top 25 of all time, it's hard for me to take this list serious, because I don't think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I just don't think Academic's on that list. If we go Academic is more popular in number polling, sure, but I don't think, unless it's Tekashi 69 related, it's hard for me to say that Academic is like I don't know, like I don't know, like if it's not Tekashi 69 related, it's hard for me to go who's taking his advice on it, because from what I know, Nori was part of the music industry and live for TV. Gillie was part of Young Money Cash Money, I believe. Joe Budden has been certified in music. Academic, I don't remember if he's certified in music. Ebro's been in music. Funk Flex been in music for more than 10 years. Pete and Rosenberg, more than 10 years. Big Boy, more than 12 years. And Sway, more than 12 years. And Nardwuar, definitely more than 12 years. So for me to go and put these huge guys at the back of this list just doesn't seem like it's the smartest option. Now, I know people are going to say, well, Joe Budden and Academic are the most popular. I don't know. Like, if you were to give me 2 interviews, I would go Angela Yee. If Angela Yee was going to do it, Angela Martinez, if she dropped an interview with anybody, I would do it. If Nardwuar was going to drop an interview with anybody, I would watch that over Academic. But I would... Breakfast Club is not my favorite, but, you know, some of them interviews are great comedic interviews. I don't know if we're talking about hip-hop because Marlon Wayne, when he's on there, it's funny. But it's definitely when you have, like, certain comedians on the Breakfast Club, I definitely tune those in. I don't know for artists per se I would listen to the Breakfast Club, but that is my, you know, that's my own personal opinion, and it sounds biased, but I don't know. I don't know. And I say Joe Budden's, and because Mal was somewhat, you know, unbiased when I was watching them. So I don't know. Like, I think it's weird because I'm not looking at specific people when I watch these shows, and if I do, they're not on this list. So it is kind of, it's weird because I think both people from the LA Leakers should have been on this list. But, you know, I'm not that proud. I don't make this list. And Complex made this list, and I think it's because it's what sells for Complex. And if that's the case, then I get it. Joe Budden sells for Complex. Wallow, I believe, is independent. Wallow and Gilly are independent, I believe. And Academic is great for Complex because he's been on a bunch of TV shows or a bunch of shows. So I get it, but it's still, it's weird. Like, it's very much weird for me to go, hey, you know, these people are the most popular, fine. But to say Sway isn't number 1, I don't know, because that Sway in the morning, you know, it's that's like, or it's Big Boy's Neighborhood, like that's iconic, like that's, or that flex, like that flex slow clap after a verse. That's iconic to me, right? And I grew up watching majority of these people, so it's weird for me to go that Sway is in top 5. It's hard for me to go Big Boy is in top 5, but I get it. If it's off of what makes Complex more money, I get why their 2 acts would make them more money. I think that I get why they're number 1. I get it, but I don't know. It's definitely weird for me to. I don't know. It's hard for me to rank them. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard for me to do Academic at number 2. I think because the environment is completely different, and Kai, I don't know. It's definitely different to me. I think that list should be reversed a little bit, but you know, I don't make the list. Complex made the list, so I can't be too biased about it. But I wonder what they base this off of. I would love to know what Complex bases the list off of, but I don't see an article where they base it off of anything. So that's interesting. Yeah, this is more me just kind of ranting because I am confused. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, but you're gonna hear me rant because I'm not sure who made this list and why they made this list.